Hello all you beautiful people, and welcome back to another video on Life of Xwisdom. I'm Xwisdom. If I sound tired, it's because it's really late at night. If I stumble over some of my words, that's because this is just going to be a raw, not very edited video, and I just want to talk about a few things, obviously, so I don't ramble too much. I have a couple of notes. Today I wanted to talk about or possibly my worst ever financial decision. So, where do we start? Now, I've mentioned this before, but I've had a long time dream to make and design shoes. This started in 2018, I believe. I got my first pair of Vans. I should say only pair. My Vans, the shoe brand. I've only had one pair, but I might have more in the future. And I'm like, I like these. These are comfortable, but I don't feel they're as grippy as it could be, and I'd like to have a comfortable running shoe that is also like it's got a nice amount of grip to it. So I developed this idea in my head to design shoes, and yes, I've only designed two pairs of shoes actually currently, but I hope to expand that if that works out, but probably won't. As I said, so far it's proven to be my worst financial decision yet. And so it was, I believe, 2022 when I finally decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I went to Fiverr, which is a site I use for most of my stuff. Getting my music mixed and mastered, adverts, video editing, all kind of stuff like that. And I said I want this colourway, which it was actually a colourway of a Bape Vans collaboration, because I really liked the pinks and the greens, and I sent a style of shoe I'd like to copy or have similarly made. And once it was done, which it was done pretty quickly, a really good job. I can't remember the name of the person I used. I might insert that if I can be bothered to, but as this is raw, probably not. And I then started the process of looking for people to design it, and I'd heard about this thing called drop shipping, and I believe this would be the best way to go about it, because I wouldn't actually have to hold any stock. I would just have to have a website which would have them notified that someone had placed an order. And I went through multiple different companies, got like quotes, and the amount, it wasn't massive. I have to admit, the amount of money, it wasn't massive, but it was massive compared to the amount of money I get, because currently my only form of income is from benefits and what I make from my music, and obviously that's very little. So yeah, it was most of my income, but finally I did find a company, and after a lot of back and forth with them, sending the design, what material I wanted to use, what insoles I wanted to use, I finally had it designed. And this is where it gets a bit more complicated. So it was designed, and I had to pay a certain amount of money for them to get it made, which, as I said, isn't a huge amount of money. It was a lot less than others were offering, but it's a lot to me, if that makes sense, in my current financial situation. And then they, for some reason, decided to send the shoes to me, and obviously this was very confusing because I was under the impression that I would just have to host a website and send a notification through whenever someone had ordered a product, and obviously because of them sending it to me, now I've ended up with 100 pairs of shoes, 100 being the only amount I could afford, and unfortunately no one is buying them yet. I've changed the price on the website multiple times. I've lowered it, I've raised it up a bit, I've made adverts, I've posted to Facebook, I've had advice from people who know about this kind of thing, and I just can't seem to be saying it, which is obviously a huge difficulty for me because I spend so much money to get them made, and I spend money to have my website hosted, and I've spent money to ensure that everything is legal, which I believe it is, but because there's so much legal jargon, I'm not entirely sure that I'm doing everything 100% correctly. And I've had to fill out tax returns, which fortunately I haven't had to pay anything. I don't think I will ever have to pay anything in taxes because I'll be making, because I'm only selling for the shoes anyways, I'm only selling 100 of them, or I only expect to sell 95 pairs of them, and obviously the profit from that is not going to be massive. It's not going to be in the taxable range, but I have had to fill out a tax form already, which was kind of difficult and disappointing because I had to report I had no profit, and I've had to pay fees on top of fees to just keep this running, which is frustrating when no one's buying anything. But yeah, so that's my worst financial decision so far. To summarize, I spent a lot of money to me on designing and trying to sell shoes, and I'm yet to sell a single pair. So yeah. Just a quick side note before I end the video. I only made this video because I figured it would be an interesting story. I'm not at all I'm not trying to sound ungrateful for where I'm at, because obviously there are people who don't get anywhere close to where I'm at, and obviously to be earning a small amount of profit on my music is amazing, even if it is small. And yeah, I appreciate you watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.